Hello from me and Lotso, and welcome to another video. So today we are going to be going through my February TBR, in which I do 2 readathons. The person who said they were going to calm down on readathons. So I am taking part in a Toy Story themed one, which is called Woody's Roundup Readathon, which is hosted by Lily over at Literary Lily. And then I'm also going to be taking part in Polathon, which is only a week long. It's the first week of February, and that is hosted by Jade over at JD Ray Reads. So I'm going to tell you what teams I'm on first. So for Polathon, I will be on Team Walrus, which is Gavin's team at How to Train Your Gavin. I'm very excited for this. So for Polathon, you have every team has 4 prompts, but then all the teams share 1 prompt, which is to read a polar fantasy. And then on Woody's Roundup Readathon, I am on Team Sunnyside Daycare, hence Lotso, which is Helen's team over at Helen's Bookhaven, and I am very excited for these. So the characters you have to collect are Barbie, Lotso, Stretch, Monkey, Big Baby and Ken. And then you can steal all of Andy's characters, or any of Andy's characters. I like to challenge myself, so I've picked a book for every prompt on Andy's characters. But we're going to get into that later. So I'm going to put Lotso down. So I have managed to double up a little bit in the sense that some of the books I've picked for Polathon, I have also picked for Woody's Roundup Readathon. So I am going to go through them and just let you know. So for Team Walrus, first off, read a polar fantasy. I have picked Snow Like Ashes by Sarah Rash. This is the first one in her trilogy. I love her writing, I love her other books, and I'm very excited to finally dive into this. And this is a fantasy. It features wintry magic, so therefore fits the polar fantasy prompt. I'm also choosing this for the Lotso prompt, which is to read a book you have forgotten about. I keep forgetting I have this on my shelf and I haven't read it yet, so it's perfect for this prompt. Next up, now I am cheating a little bit here. I am only going to use 4 books for Polathon, so I'm doubling up my Cold Waters and my dark cover prompt and using A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J Maas. I genuinely don't think I'm going to be able to get to 5 books in a week, even though I do have the week off work. If I do manage to, that's great, but I don't see it happening. So I have picked this for both. And I am also using this for the stretch prompt, which is to read a book set near or at the sea. This is set in Valaris, which obviously has the ocean next to it. So it works for both Cold Waters and Stretch. And I'm also buddy reading this with Liv. Obviously, we have been buddy reading our reread of this series, so we are going to be doing this together. Next up for Polathon, for the dive in prompt, I am using Crush by Tracy Wolff. I am very excited to get to this. I read Crave this month and absolutely loved it. This is a chunky one though. Do you see now why I'm only picking 4 books for the week-long one? Because this is chunky. I am also using this for one of my stolen character prompts. So for the stolen characters on Woody's Roundup Readathon, the books you pick have to be stolen from another person's TBR, or stolen as in like borrowed from a friend, borrowed from the library, that's just not your own. This is my own. However, I have stolen this from Liv's TBR because she is reading this in February too. So this is for, so I'm using this for the Rex prompt, which is a book with a cinnamon roll character, because the main character's cousin is an actual cinnamon roll and I love her so much. So, and then the final Polathon prompt is to read a book set in an Arctic setting, and I have chosen Ember and the Ice Dragons by Heather Fawcett. This was, not gonna lie, a cover buy for me, and I have heard so many good things about this, and I think this is actually going to be on a lot of people's TBRs in February because it's Polar Fantasy. So I'm excited to get to this, and this is middle grade, so it should be a fairly quick read. And I am also using this for the Ken prompt, which is to read a book with a pretty cover because yes. So that is my Polathon TBR. So these are the books I have to read in the first week of February. I have booked the week off work, so it shouldn't be too bad, but we'll see how that goes. Okay, so for Woody's Roundup Readathon, for my team's prompts, the first character is Barbie. So the prompt for Barbie is to read a book that you have unrealistic expectations for, and I wouldn't say I'm cheating with this one, because in Lily's announcement video she said any book can count for these prompts as long as it's on Goodreads. So I don't have a physical copy of this book because it's technically not a published book. It is a fan fiction and it is called Fix Your Attitude, and the author name is Casa Novella. So this, I'm going to just prove, it is on Goodreads. It is on Goodreads. Yes, I'm that prepared. I had that ready. It is on Goodreads, and I have been wanting to read this for ages. It is one of the most famous Kylo Ren fan fictions. Apparently it's very smutty. There are a lot of trigger warnings for it. I have looked at them and I'm okay knowing that they're in there. So yeah, I'm very excited to read it. It's like 300 pages long, so it is the size of an actual book. So, you know, it's valid, and I'm very happy I get to add it to my reading challenge. Then the next two, as I've already mentioned, are Lotso and Stretch, which I'm doubling up with Polathon books. Then we have Monkey, which is to read an audiobook or a book with a loud cover. Now for this, my copy has literally just this second been dispatched, but I didn't want to put off filming this any longer, and that is A Tangle of Spells by Michelle Harrison. As you can see, this book cover is very loud in the sense it's very bright and colourful, and there's a lot going on it. I absolutely love the covers to this series. They have all been incredible, and I'm very excited to do it. And it's also finishing a series. Then next up we have Big Baby, which is to read a book you are intimidated by. And for this I have picked A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire by Jennifer L. Armentrout. Now, not only is this chunky as hell, I'm scared because of how the first book went. But I am really looking forward to reading this, and I am actually buddy reading this with Lauren at Lordtopia. I did forget to mention we are also buddy reading Snow Like Ashes during Polathon week. So this is another buddy read because we did buddy read the first book, and I'm excited to get back into the series, but also very scared. And then also we have the Ken prompt, which, as I mentioned, I am using I'm linking up with a Polathon book. So now we move on to the stolen characters. So for the stolen characters, we have Woody, Buzz, Slinky Dog, Rex, Mr. Potato Head, Ham, RC, Soldiers, and the Aliens. So I picked a book for every one of these prompts. Whether I actually manage to fill it or not, we will see. February is the shortest month of the year. You never know. We'll see how my reading goes. So first up we have Woody, which is read a book with a historical setting. For this I am reading Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. I am going to be buddy reading this. This is stolen off of Liv's TBR because I am buddy reading it with Liv and our friend Catherine. They have not read this before. However, this will be my third time reading it, and it has not even been published for a year. Can you tell I love this? So I'm really excited to dive into this again for the third time because I love it. And it will be in preparation for Chain of Iron coming out in March. Next up we have Buzz, read a sci-fi book, and for this I am reading Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. I have the audiobook for this, so I'm really excited because it's narrated by Sophie Aldred, which if you're a classic Doctor Who fan, as in the classic episodes, you will know who Sophie Aldred is. I love her, she's amazing. And this is stolen off of Becca's November TBR. Yeah, I went digging for this because I remember it being on her TBR. So yeah, this was on Becca's November TBR. Next up we have Slinky Dog, a book over 450 pages, and then for this I've picked The Mask Falling by Samantha Shannon. This is chunky. This is definitely over 450. This I have stolen off of Becca's January TBR, but to be fair, this literally come out 2 days ago, so this is going to be on a lot of people's TBRs, so I'm safe there. But this was on Becca's January TBR specifically. Then I've already mentioned for Rex, I'm reading Crush, and it's stolen off Liv's TBR, so that one is done. Next up we have Mr. Potato Head, a book featuring disguises. For this I have picked Finale by Stephanie Garber. Now this I have sort of like bent the rules a little bit because this is stolen off of my friend Charlie's TBR. However, she is reading Legendary in February. And this is the sequel. So I'm bending it a bit, but it's the same series and I've already read Legendary and I need to read Finale, so I've stolen it off of my friend Charlie's TBR. Next up we have Ham, a book that features on money or wealth, and for this I have picked Persuasion by Jane Austen. This is stolen from Ruby's book blog, and I had to dig deep for this because I couldn't find it on any TBR, so I did some digging and Ruby actually had it on a TBR post back in July 2020, so I will link that down below. So I'm going to link all of them down below so you can see. So I'm excited to finally get to this, and I did want to really read this year, so yeah, and it's quite short. So next up we have RC, to read a fast read, and for this I have picked A Vow So Bold and Deadly by Brigid Kemmerer, and this is stolen from Liv's February TBR. I'm very excited for this because this is the final book in a series and it's gonna hurt me so much, and I'm not ready, but I'm also very excited, so wish me luck. I'm gonna be sobbing, aren't I? Yeah, probably. Next up we have Soldiers, a book that has a squad or team as a main focus. For this I've picked Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. I did look at the synopsis on Goodreads and it makes it sound like there is a squad or a group or something, so I have gone for this, and this is actually stolen from any person who's on Team Owl's Toy Barn because it is their team book. So yeah, I know anyone that's on Team Owl's Toy Barn is probably going to have this on their TBR, and I have seen one person in particular on Twitter, but I missed the tweet because it refreshed, but I have seen at least one person on that team pick this, so it is stolen from anyone on that team that's using this book. Yes. And then finally we have Aliens, a book with a green cover, and for this I'm reading Soulbinder by Sebastian de Castell. I cannot wait to continue this series. This is the 4th book in the Spellslinger series and I have absolutely adored this series so much, so I'm really excited to like get back into it and hopefully finish the series this year, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm continuing this series, and this was stolen off of Robbie at And His Nose Stuck in a Book, and this was on his January TBR. And then I have one final book on my TBR for February. This is not on either of the readathons, but me, my mum and my sister are planning on buddy reading Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. None of us think we're actually going to like this book, which will be really annoying if I don't, because I have the entire series in paperback. But I'm looking forward to giving it a go. And yeah, me, my mum and my sister absolutely loved the TV show, so we are looking forward to giving the books a go, and we'll see how it goes. But this is not on any of the readathon prompts. This was just an additional one because I have no control. And then I believe me, Jazz and Kelly are going to be continuing our, or rather finishing our buddy read of the Ember and the Ashes series, because we do have A Sky Beyond the Storm by Sabaa Tahir to still read, so we will likely be trying to squeeze that in February, but that is not a definite, and I will have this on audiobook and not physical, because my Fairy Loot editions haven't, like, they're not shipping yet. So yeah. So yeah, that was my February TBR. It's pretty chunky. I don't want to lift all these books up. Let's do it. Why do I do this to myself every single month? Every single month. This is a lot of, I'm going to put this down before I drop it. So that's my February TBR. I am going to need a lot of luck for this, because this is going to be interesting. But I hope you enjoyed that. If you are participating in either of these readathons, let me know. I would love to see what books you have picked. I'm really excited for this. As I said, I have got the first week of February booked off work because 1, I need a holiday, and 2, readathon. So I'll be doing lots of reading in that first week. And I'm just really excited for this so much. So yeah, as I said, I will link all of the people I've mentioned, I will link in the description box below, along with the announcement videos for both of these readathons. And wish me luck for February. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Bye.